Hey guys, and welcome back to my weekly reading vlog where every time I finish a book I hop on the camera and let you know my thoughts and feelings about it and then let you know what I'm going to be reading next. And first up, I did it. I finished The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. This is the first book in a young adult dystopian. And in this world, there was a disease that kind of struck all these kids, I guess, and only the kids. And if the kids did not die from it, they gained some mental powers, and this became a real problem. So all the kids were locked up into rehabilitation camps. But enter Ruby, who has been hiding her true mental abilities from absolutely everyone. And then she is broken out of her camp, and the story goes from there. I have very mixed feelings about this. So that first third of the book is actually really, really interesting. And I really liked it because Ruby ended up being very different than what we kind of see as young adult dystopian leads tend to be. And I was really enjoying it. The premise of it is fine. I didn't think it was it was a decent enough premise that wasn't done as well as I would have liked. And the writing is good. And then we got to the second third of the book. And then that became much more in line with what a normal young adult dystopian is, which it was a little sad because I had enjoyed how unusual that first part of it was. But it was fine. I was like, oh, I can deal with this. And then the last third happened and I did not like it. There were good things that happened, but also content warnings for sexual assault, which it's just it makes me angry that I was just that it's in there, because it's why? It didn't need to be sexual assault. It could have been any number of other things that could have served your plot. But so I really wasn't happy about that, and I didn't like the very end of this book and the choices that Ruby makes. So I have very mixed feelings about this. I'm not entirely certain that I'm going to continue this series because it would be taking it on faith that it's as good as the beginning and not as bad as the end. So I don't know. We'll see though. But for now, I at least finished this book. I also finished Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. Now this is a queer romance comic that features two high school boys, Nick and Charlie. Now Charlie is out as gay and the whole school kind of knows, and he develops a rather large crush on his best friend Nick, and as far as anybody knows, Nick is straight. And then at the end of the last volume, some of these feelings came out, and in this volume they kind of have to deal with it. And I really, really like this series. It is very cute, it is very fluffy, and honestly it's also very realistic, and I really appreciate that. I also really enjoy how these comics are laid out. It's beautiful, it is easy to read, and it just flies. I think I read this in 45 minutes, which is, it was good. I really enjoyed it. So next I'm actually going to pick up Forged in Fire and Stars by Andrea Robertson. This is a young adult fantasy, I think, but it follows our main character of Ara, who was training to be the loresmith, who is the top blacksmith who creates special objects for the king and queen. Only the king and queen are then overthrown, and so Ara's out of a job. She ends up in a small town as their blacksmith, until the prince and princess knock on her door and say, we're gonna get our throne back. You in? And then the story just kind of goes from there. I have not started this yet. I am very excited to. That description just sounds amazing to me, and I cannot wait to dive in. I'm very tempted to start this tonight, but I know that if I do, that I probably won't sleep. So I don't know. Either way, you probably will be getting an update from me on this very soon. So yeah, but that's all I have for this update. So until next time, guys, bye. Hey guys, it is Saturday night, and so it is time for my end of the week update, and I have finished Forged in Fire and Stars by Andrea Robertson. I did finish this really late last night, so I wasn't going to do an update right then, but I did finish it. So, first off, I do want to correct the description that I gave previously in that I thought that Ara was training to be the loresmith, and she's not. She actually, so the king and queen were overthrown before she was even born. And the loresmith was killed before she was even born. But Ara has the ability to become the next loresmith, which nobody else has. And so when the prince and princess find her, that's why they're looking for her, because she has the ability to become the next loresmith. So minor differences, but it was kind of that the description was a little bit vague, and I took it to mean one thing, and that was incorrect. So I just wanted to correct that. But you guys, this is a mixed bag. I was really hoping for this to be a 5-star read, because I was like, oh, she's a blacksmith. That sounds awesome. She's going to end up on this journey. That sounds great. And it just could. This book really never found itself. It kind of floundered at various parts. So the beginning was actually really interesting. The writing style of it was very different. It felt kind of like we were being told this folk tale, which I thought was really interesting and a little bit surprising, not what I was expecting. But then it abruptly kind of stopped after a couple chapters. Like, it felt like the first couple of chapters had gotten worked on for a really long time until they were really good, and then the next chapters happened and they maybe hadn't been worked on quite so much. So that was kind of weird, the writing style just changing, and then it changed again later when the action picked up. The pacing was kind of all over the place. Like, it was okay, and then it slowed way down as we added in a lot of descriptions and explanations for things, but then it picked up again with the action. The world building was interesting. We got a lot of interesting bits about the gods and about various aspects of this world, except for culture. There was a lot of stuff missing from the various cultural bits. That was, again, kind of weird. How the characters interacted was very basic level. I was just like, what it ended up feeling like was that this is a young adult novel. So Ara is 15 when we meet her, and the twins are 18. And I don't remember how old the other people are, but so it just ends up feeling very young. Ara is an interesting main character, but by turns she's extremely naive, and sometimes, on the next page, she'll be extremely wise. And you're like, oh, okay. And so it just felt, and just how lacking in depth this entire novel was, it just felt very young. And at the end of this, I didn't feel like this was the first book in a new series. I felt like this was a prequel. Like, it was a setup to this series. And so I didn't really know what to think. So I ended up rating this 3.5 stars because the potential to be amazing is definitely there. But as far as this book goes, it didn't live up to that potential. But I could see it getting a lot better as this series goes on. So I'm still interested in continuing it, but at the same time, it was a bit of a mixed bag. So I did already start my next book, and that is Perdition by Ann Aguirre. This is the first book in the Dread Chronicles series. This is a spin-off series from the Sarantha Jax series, which I had been reading. And this follows our main character of Desdemona Devos, and she is one of the leaders in this prison ship, and she is fighting tooth and nail to keep her territory. And when new prisoners are dropped off, she decides to go take a look and see if there's any that are worth her time, and she sees JL. And so JL is a character we have met before, but she dubs him worthy of joining their little crusade, and now the story goes from there. I was trying to think if there's anything that I could add without spoilers, but no, not really. This was intriguing to me because I was interested to see what happened with JL, and I actually really like Desdemona as a character. I think that the writing style in general is an improvement over the Samantha Jacks series, and there is a solid plot going on, and it's just overall quality-wise better than Samantha Jacks. I am with still having that nice little spark of it calling to me like the Samantha Jacks series did. Like the Samantha Jacks series, I kept saying, like, I loved it in spite of itself. There was just something about it, and we still have that little spark in this particular series, so I am enjoying it. I am 144 pages in, so I've got a little bit under 200 pages left to go, so I should be finishing this up pretty quickly, and you should have an update from me soon. But that is all I have, you guys. So until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.